what you can do today is miraculous. Back then I had to be on the phone with Good Morning America or the New York Times, Wall Street Journal to get people a huge platform to go reach in front of them. And it was so difficult to get somebody's message out. And now with our phone, I can create my own virtual stage in seconds.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
If you've always wanted to be a speaker, but you're not sure how to make a big impact or big money, we're excited about our guest today. Today, we're excited to welcome Justin Guarini and Kim Walsh Phillips, the dynamic duo behind Elite Speakers Network. These two industry veterans have combined their expertise in entertainment and business to create a powerful formula for success. Justin Guarini, a beloved figure from American Idol and Broadway, brings his entertainment experience to the table. Meanwhile, Kim, a renowned business coach and author, has built a thriving company and helped countless entrepreneurs become successful speakers. Together, they've developed a unique approach that leverages the power of celebrity to empower professionals and take their business to new heights.
Justin, Kim, welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
We're very excited about this. So when we have new guests on, we usually start with a little bit of a background. So just to get to know our guests just a little bit more before we dig into some specific questions. Can each of you just briefly give a little bit of the background and what led you to end up right here today?
Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and introduce Kim, and Kim can introduce me because it's more fun to talk about each other than ourselves. Kim, the thing about Kim is that, yes, she is from Long Island. Yes, she is 4'11", but she is an absolute dynamo when it comes to marketing. Actually, one of my favorite people on the planet, by the way, and a dynamo when it comes to actually marketing, finding that right fit message for that right fit audience, which is the crux of all good marketing. But look, it's one thing to have a skill. It's another thing to actually be able to show off that skill and to be so good at that skill that the OG, Dan Kennedy, said, "You, Kim Walsh Phillips, I would like to write a book with you." You know that you ever heard of Dan Kennedy's No BS Guide to Direct Response Marketing? Well, Dan Kennedy was so convinced that he would never work with a woman with a hyphenated name and or would never ever have anything to do with social media. That was until he met Kim. He then said, "Oh, you're right. I see the light. I'm going to write the No BS Guide to Social Media Marketing," and it's by far his best-selling book. Oh, someone else who thought Kim was worthwhile working with, Kevin Mr. Wonderful O'Leary from Shark Tank. When faced with the dynamo that is Kim, I'm just going to keep using the word dynamo. He said, "I would love to bring you into my Shark Tank social media, the things that I invest in. Please do my social media." And so not only that, but best-selling author and has consistently ended up on the Inc. 5000 at like 478 or something like that. And just is an absolute awesome person and partner to work with every single day.
Aw,
What
thank
an
you.
intro.
What an intro. Fantastic.
Yeah, not bad. Beat that, Kim. What you got, Kim?
The challenge
We don't
is
like
Now
to
I
have
know
any
why
fun,
he
by
went
the way.
first.
That's
We
right.
don't like to have any fun.
Yeah, none whatsoever. Justin was on season 1 of American Idol. In fact, we started behind the scenes talking about our host experience with that show. And one of my favorite things is getting to hear from other people what was going on in their life during season 1 of American Idol. We actually just got to hear about a marriage that happened because of that last week, which was super cool. But he turned that into a 22-year entertainment career because of his ability to engage and command the stage. And he's been able to do that from not just American Idol, but being in 7 different Broadway shows, one role that was created for a show specifically with Justin in mind, and is the brand behind Little Sweet character on Dr. Pepper, where kids still dress up as him to this day and tag him every Halloween with that character. He is a current voice on Disney's Disney Junior show of Super Kitties. But one of the things that I love the best about him is his greatest delights come from other people unlocking their performance to impact an audience. And I found out about this secret skill of his when I hired him to be an MC for one of our events after Justin and I connected on the audio app Clubhouse. And he told all the really highlight reel of my life, but for a long time, it was really hard. I had to hawk my engagement ring to make payroll one time until I unlocked the power of speaking. And I'm speaking on all these stages and it's amazing. And then the pandemic happened and all the stages went away. And so I created these virtual events as a way to pivot. And in that process, met Justin in Clubhouse, hired him to be an MC of our event. And while I'm on stage, normally an MC is in the back and they're messing around and they're just goofing off. And he was doing all the workbooks as I'm speaking on the stage. I'm like, I go into the green room. I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I'm a performance coach. What? He's like, I want to grow my coaching business. I'm like, I can help you with that. And so I started coaching him. And unlike a lot of coaching clients, he actually did all the things I said for him to do. And like anyone who follows what I say, it worked. And so he starts having this success. I start bringing him in to be a performance coach of our clients. And then crazy enough, during this time, I'm recruited to be on the Bravo show Below Deck Sailing as a guest. And I invite Justin on as my guest for that show. And while we're on the show, we start coaching all this crew on their message, their speech, and their performance. And a producer came to me and she said, Kim, you guys have something here. Is this your business? I said, no. She goes, it should be. So from that moment, Justin and I created the Lead Speakers Network where we coach entrepreneurs on how to unlock their right fit message and use it to get booked on stages as an elite keynote speaker as a way to grow their business. And it's been an incredible journey seeing Justin step into this role of mentor. He'd already been invited to big audiences to do that in front of big stages in front of many students at a time. He was invited back to American Idol as a mentor, but now to see him do it every day with entrepreneurs and let their light shine has been incredible.
Wow.
Bravo.
You bet, guys. It sounds a little bit, which we won't go into today. It sounds a little bit like our story because Michael was actually my client who did everything I asked him to do before we became co-authors and then partners in the company and then life partners. It's how long.
I love that.
Yeah. Now I just tell people the secret to my success is just listening to her. So I really like y'all's intros for that.
Hashtag do what she says. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So I want to start with this question. So the part of your huge, success with this is really incorporating that entertainment style into speaking. So tell me a little bit, let's start with you, Justin. Tell a little bit about how you've been able to incorporate that, because I have a feeling that's like part of where your superpower is.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the entertainment world and acting, singing, dancing, we spend a lot of time focusing on our skill sets, and really what it breaks down to in terms of the stage performance is really working on our voices, our faces, and our bodies. Now, depending on what you choose, if you're a dancer, obviously it's mostly just your body, but a musical theater artist has to work on all three. Right? You have to sing and or project your voice. You have to be able to show facial expressions, larger, smaller, depending on whether you're on a stage or in front of a camera. And you have to know how to move your body. You might not be a classically trained dancer, but you've got to know how to move. And so bringing those three things to bear on a performance is half the battle, right? When you get up on a stage, I love working with entrepreneurs and CEOs and people who are maybe not used to being in front of a large audience, and teaching them how to, as we do in musical theater, play to the back of the house, how to connect with many people all at once. It's one thing if we're on a Zoom call. It's another thing if you're one-on-one, but if you have a bunch of people in front of you, how do you connect with them? How do you use your voice, your face, and your body to do that? Like I said before, on a Zoom call, that's a whole nother thing because you don't have that energy that you have in person, right? You get that kind of feeling like, oh, this conversation is going well. It's not going well. Oh, I need to talk about this. Well, we lose that in the digital space unless you know how to connect with people via your voice, your face, and your body. And then the other half of what I love to bring is, you think about your voice, your face, your body, which are the internal things that we can control as entrepreneurs. But what about the external things that we can control? What about your lighting, your background, your camera shot if you are on Zoom, right? What you're wearing, those kinds of things, depending on whether you're on stage or you're on camera, are super, super important. So I love being able to bring the lights, the cameras, the action, as well as the actual voice, face, and body performance to what it is that we do, because every one of our clients has a successful business. Yet there's this story inside them. There is this story that's locked inside their product or their service, and they want to get it out in order to not just scale up their business, right? Of course, but to serve and to guide and to get people who don't know them, not just a one-on-one conversation, but in a one-to-many conversation, get people who don't know them to do what we all know in business we have to do, which is to get people to know, like, and trust us. And so I love bringing all of that entertainment and knowledge to bear on people who have a great product, a great business, and the desire to get up on a stage or in front of a camera and deliver their story.
Oh, I love that. It's a triple threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the triple threat that you bring to the table.
Sure.
And you guys
absolutely.
mentioned,
Yeah.
You guys mentioned that know, like, and trust, and that is Bob Berg.
Yeah, our buddy
the
Bob
famous
Berg.
Bob Berg. Yeah, he was on our podcast not too long ago as well, and he's such a fine man.
Just a gem.
We loved him.
All right, Kim, let me ask you a question. How can entrepreneurs leverage digital platforms to create what you call an entertainment experience that drives revenue?
Well, I have been running a company since the dawn of time. Before there was the interwebs, we had MySpace as the first starting point and YouTube. And yet they weren't really leveraged as a platform in the way that they are today. And what you can do today is miraculous. Back then I had to be on the phone with Good Morning America or the New York Times, Wall Street Journal to get people a huge platform to go reach in front of them. And it was so difficult to get somebody's message out. And now with our phone, I can create my own virtual stage in seconds, right? I can reach my audience in moments with something that is even better sometimes than a speech from the stage. While we love that, you create equity when you create a video that goes viral. Because now I produce a piece of content one time, and I can reach the world over and over and over again. So from an audience perspective, from a message perspective, it's amazing because of reach. It's also incredible because you get to see how the audience reacts to a piece of content. So let's say I get booked, like we have a huge speaking engagement that we were hired to do coming up. I don't need to make the first time I do that speech that moment, and I never should. I want to have tested everything before that speech with my content inside my audience. So it's really great. It's great for testing content. It's amazing for asking questions. What do they care about? One of the great ways to ask a question is magic wand. If you pull a magic wand to it, it removes all the obstacles. It lets them just give you the real answer. So if you had a magic wand, what's one thing that would change about you as a keynote speaker, right? That would just give me some answers. It's also incredible because when we have a bigger audience, we get booked on bigger stages. It doesn't even correlate completely, but yet when they see you have a big audience, they think that you're more popular and more likely to be booked. But then here's the secret. So you can be booked as a keynote speaker, paid a really great fee, $15,000, $25,000. And when you go and do that, typically you're not supposed to be giving out a free gift offer or making any kind of paid offer from the stage because they hired you to give a speech. So the question becomes, how do I turn that into equity? Because it's just income if I speak on the stage and I leave and don't do anything else with that experience. I got paid a fee to speak. I'm done. It's income. How do I turn it into equity? I can run what is called the hotel hijack ad. And what that does is anytime Justin and I speak on a stage, there is an ad running over that venue. So everybody on their phones, on their Instagram and their Facebook, they will see a video from him and I, a great piece of engaging content. And as soon as they see that video, we now can follow up with them because they are in what's called an engaged audience in my ads platform. And now I can follow up. And if I want to invite them to a webinar, or I want to get them on a strategy call, or I want to sell them an event ticket, I can do that because they're now in an audience. So I didn't have to make an offer from stage. I didn't have to try to generate leads. I can do it all with my digital platform simply by running an ad over the property that I'm speaking at. And that lets me create equity from every speaking engagement Justin and I do.
Mm-hmm. Great tip.
That's a fantastic tip.
Yep, really good.
Never even heard of that one before. And I will say one other thing, you know, if you are a true professional, a true expert at what you do, and you're sharing your story, that expertise will come out and the people will find you.
Yes.
They will search the hallways for you to do business with you if they really feel like you know your stuff.
They will. And a tip on that. If you can't make an offer and you want them to find you, tell them where you're going to be next. Put that into the talk. So you want to make sure as part of your talk, you're going to say, if you have questions on that, just find me at the cocktail party tonight. Or if you have questions on that, I'm going to hang out in the lobby for a little bit when I get off the stage. Let them make it easy on them so that they can, and make sure your name is in multiple spaces on that PowerPoint. And when they look you up, they can find where you want them to go, and a free gift is there. So in all your social media, there needs to be some free gift. On your website, there needs to be a free gift. So you're not just letting them do research, you're giving them an incentive to give you their contact information by having those links in place before you take the stage.
Love that.
Another great tip.
Absolutely it is. You bet. So tell me, do you guys, like, how is your program, your Elite Speakers Network, how is that structured? How do you work with people?
We have a couple of different offers. I'll start with the first place that we love to bring people in, and we have a Facebook group that people can join. It is the Public Speaking Profits Facebook group, and inside there is a wonderful community of people, and we go in and we'll do trainings inside there. However, when you want to take it to the next level, we have the Elite Speakers Network, and it is the platinum program where we bring people in, and every single, well, actually they get a couple calls a month, right? They start off with the Elite Speakers Blueprint, where we really break down how they can go about becoming that elite, highly paid keynote speaker, how they can book more stages. And then as a part of that, they also get calls with us every single month. They get a persuasion call, a performance call, and then they get what we like to call the green room secrets, which is where we bring in an expert who has something to do with the speaking game or the speaking business, or some of the surrounding areas in business. And it is just an awesome place where all the questions that you might have, all of the thoughts, you're like, oh, well, you know, how about, what about this offer? What about this headline? It's like we make a place and a space for you to come and to feel safe and asking those kinds of questions, and to be surrounded by like-minded individuals who are really have the goal to be that elite, high paid keynote speaker. It's really cool. We love to say in this space, you're surrounded by people who normalize your greatness. And it's so important to be surrounded by people who are like, yeah, oh my goodness, I love that. Because oftentimes when we try something new, isn't it interesting how the people who love us most, and it's because they love us, because they want to protect us, often are like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? I don't know. Look, isn't it safer to try that? You know, right? You guys know. It's like when you want to start your own business, when you want to go off of the beaten path, when you want to maybe break, they might not see it this way, but you want to break a generational curse when it comes to money, when it comes to the things that have happened inside your family. The people closest to you sometimes are going to be your biggest obstacles in getting there. However, when you come into a space and a place like we have in the Elite Speakers Network, we are all of one accord. It is a safe space to ask all the questions that you might be afraid to ask somewhere else, and to really be surrounded by those people who are going to support you along your journey, no matter where you're starting.
Like what you're hearing? Hit that subscribe button and learn how you can change how you're seen and charge what you're worth.
That's great.
Yeah.
That, because we live in a world, I'm probably the oldest one on this thing, on this little platform right here. But, it used to be like the number one fear, like people were more afraid of speaking in front of the public than like death. Right. And so, I've been a 32-year auctioneer. And so I've never had a problem being in front of people. Right. So I never really fully understood that. But it's pretty awesome, I think, and y'all might agree, that we live in a world now where people do want to do this and they want to become that elite speaker, and they can, many of them. Right. And so, Kim, I want to ask you a question here. What about the people who want to speak, right? But they don't feel like they have any of those entertaining qualities. How much of this is teachable? How much of this is God-given?
It is teachable for everybody. So let's just put that out. Like nobody is born with a microphone in their hand from the delivery room. Everyone had to learn how to do it effectively. And the people who say that they just go up on stage and wing it typically are not great speakers. That is a skilled craft. It's funny. I was just talking to my daughter this morning. She goes, I want to go in a commercial. I said, okay, if you want to go in a commercial, if you want to go all in on this, I will find a class for you to start taking. And then you need to go and do a local performance. I'm going to put you in a theater program for you. She goes, wait, what? And I said, yeah, and then we're going to get an agent. And she said, what? I'm like, you don't just show up and do it. It is a craft that is developed. And that if you want to go all in, we're going to do that. But that's where in our minds, we want to think it's just some people have it or some people don't, because then it doesn't make it my choice whether or not I do it. But it really is a choice because it is a learnable skill. So then we get to a place of, okay, if it is a learnable skill, why would I choose it? Well, you choose it if you have a message that is in your heart and in your head and you can't get rid of it. You choose it when you think about this is something that needs to be shared in the world. You choose it because anytime you have told your story, it has impacted others. You choose it because you don't want to face the rest of your life when you see it from the other side to say, I should have, I could have, but I didn't. You choose it even when you're scared, because fear never stops incredible things from happening, but regret does. So if it is just that you're scared, then God bless you, because that means you're normal. But if you have something that you have told one person and it changed your life, and you think, okay, if I was to tell this just one person after one person after one person, if I could do it that way, how could I really change the world if I could tell many people at one time? I was just talking to somebody. I'm gonna be frank, the woman who was washing my hair at the dry bar place, she was saying to me, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a speaker coach. And she's like, oh, I could never speak to people like that. I said, but you just did. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, you are standing on a wood floor right now. It's the same material that they make the stages of. So you've already stepped on the stage because you're standing on it right now. You're speaking to me right now, one-on-one. I said, so it's not hard. Like what you just said, it's not hard because you just did it. You did the skill that you need. What you're making hard is your thoughts about it. So what Justin and I do is actually unlock what those thoughts are. And a crazy side story on all this. We have this one coaching client, Natalie Runoff. She was a ballerina with the Russian ballet. Her family was part of the royal family, and a performance didn't go as well as it should have. And she was told by her parents that she created shame on the family because of it. She was put into a position of like her whole rest of her life in her childhood being told how shameful she was from her performance on a stage. So you talk about fear. Like she feels shame for her royal family. Yes. So she would shake with great fear when she even came near us, bright red, great fear. But she knew that she had a message that was strong enough that she wanted to work on it. We worked with her so much so that not only did she get rid of that fear, but she now wins every single Toastmaster competition that she does. Like,
that's awesome.
Bravo.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. The fear's okay. If you have a story that's meant to share with the world, seek somebody who can take you from where you are now to commanding the stage, because your message is important enough to do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've always thought that the fear, it just needs to be channeled. Like, and sometimes it's excitement that's manage this fear of being on that stage. And so I love that you address that, and that it's a learned skill. Everybody can do it.
100%. And to just tag on what you said, there are those moments in life where maybe our child is in trouble and we will not even think, we'll immediately rush into a situation and get them and take care of them, right? Or if someone we care about's in trouble, we'll drop everything because we found out that they're in the hospital, even if it's not but whatever it is, we will go and we'll be there for them. And even though we're afraid, even though we might feel that fear, we do it anyway because we care so much about that other person that nothing will stop us. And another way of thinking about this is that if, like Kim said, you've got that story, if there is a moment or a situation where this thing that happened to you saved your life, saved someone else's life, you figured something out, then it's almost like you have like a moral obligation to share it. I don't want to put that on you, but it is so powerful. Think about the opportunity cost. If there is something that happened with your body and you figured something out that saved your life, isn't it worth it to get up and to share your story so that maybe you can save one person's life in the audience, right? That might be somebody's father or mother, child, brother, sister, just that one thing alone. And then if you start to think like, oh man, my story might save someone's life, it might save someone's marriage, it might save someone's business, it might save someone from, you just name it. Even if you can save and help one person, I think it's totally worth it. It's totally worth that fear, just the same way you would drop all your things to go to the hospital for someone you love, just the same as you would run in a burning building for your child or maybe even your neighbor's child. It's that sort of thing. We feel the fear, but we do it anyway because the opportunity cost is just far too high if we don't do it.
Justin has this awesome program he does inside our program called the 10-minute nerve crusher exercise. So we walk people through this like set process to do exactly what you just said, was turn the nerves into excitement. So it's possible. It's just telling your brain, use that energy for good. We can leverage it.
Yes.
Yeah, so true. A lot of our personal branding clients suffer from that same kind of thing. They have this fear of, what if people are going to look at me differently once I put myself out there more and tell my story and set myself apart. And they go through a lot of those same things. But you guys described it so beautifully about how to take that fear and really channel it toward positivity. So guys, I wish we had another hour or two with you guys.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to be repeat.
Yeah, that's right. We'd love to have you back.
Definitely.
We would love it.
Where can people learn more about Elite Speakers Network and hopefully do the research and get started working with you guys?
Well, Justin and I, you could tell how much we love this and how we feel a calling on getting every person's message out to the world. So we actually run a free weekly workshop where we unlock what your right fit message is, how to title it, the market to go after, and we do live coaching with our folks during this workshop. And we'd love for people to join us there. It's speakandgrowrichworkshop.com, speakandgrowrichworkshop.com/podcast. And we would love to see you join us on this weekly workshop. And when you join us, you're going to be able to unlock your right fit message, land the stages that are waiting for you, and leverage it to not just get paid on the stage, but get paid once you leave the stage as well.
I love it.
Yeah, bravo, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such a pleasure. And you two, your energy just like pours out of the screen. So we know everybody else is going to love you as much as we do.
Oh, thank you. So much fun being with you.
You bet.
Ready to change how you're seen and charge what you're worth? If you're not getting enough opportunities to meet with ideal customers, or the prospects you're meeting with just aren't ideal, it's most likely your brand that's holding you back. So if you're a coach, consultant, or expert who is on the rise, you need our ultimate guide to a freedom-based brand. Download it free now at BrandFaceGuide.com.